WoWsoloist here, and welcome to Guardian Druid learning her way through horrific visions. She's going to start out here as a level 1 cloak, rank 1 cloak. She's, 440-ish, and she's got no buffs in this first run. So this is her first test. This is Stormwind, and it's Alleria. So what we're going to see here is, I think my first run of Alleria, I had tried Thrall in the first week with this character and my Beast Mastery Hunter, and I really had not been very happy about it. So I still believe Thrall is bugged. He's less buggy now than he was the first week, but I still believe he's bugged, especially for melee tanks like Guardians. And I think also for healing specs. Okay, so we spend our vessel. This is when we actually have spent our key. And we're going to go in. Now this is very straightforward because she is in Guardian spec, of course. She has Feral Cat, which she's switching to now. When she was looking at Wrathion, there is when she realized that, I haven't got any buffs. And so she took one little stamina steak and potatoes food, and that's really all she got out of this 150 stamina food. So, yeah, so you got Tyrallion, and as a Guardian Druid, you ain't got no good single target crowd control. That's other than just a short stun, so why bother? Yeah, now she's a bear. I didn't know this fight with Alleria yet, with her front guards, and so she gets sort of stunned by almost everything. Actually, this first run, she wasn't bad. She didn't get stunned as much as she could have. She used some talents there. She's not using her... there she does, blue safety orb very much, because the mobs aren't over there. The stuns are not very bad. The stuns here mainly are, like everything in these runs for the Guardian Druid, it's just a sanity drain. Health is really not at issue at this point. That's not true on the Beast Mastery Hunter or the Disc Priest at all. But on the Guardian Druid, the trash are not a problem. Even if you... Okay, so now it looks like she may have aggroed this Void Corpuscle over here. So we've got lots of sanity. We're just going to see if he's coming for us. No, he's not. Okay, forget him. On we go. Now, this being the first time through, just being really cautious, she threw down the orb here. Normally, I throw down the orb within the cathedral proper, quite a ways in to Alleria, because the stun bash run here takes, you have to be pretty close to get that thing to work properly. So, and she's a bear. She doesn't run really quick. So this is no augment runes, nothing, just her little blue puddle, which is sort of a bloodlust thing. And she's staying in Guardian spec. Bears are slow and bears are big targets. If you're playing a Guardian and you're new to all of this, the first time that I ran this with Alleria, she got Alleria down to like 1% and got killed on the last Void Eruption because her tail was sticking out to the side. So you notice what I'm doing. When it's Void Eruption time, I park her with her nose into the pillar. If you park your bear across the pillar from side to side, you are probably going to get dinged by Void Eruption and killed. It's a one-shot at that point. At these low levels of ranks of cloak, it would be a one-shot. So that's a thing to consider. I like the Alleria fight. I think it is less buggy than Thrall. I think she goes down rather smoothly, which is what I want to see when she doesn't have extra side effects from the corrupted or lost zones added onto her. I'm seeing uniform damage on her, uniform health reduction. She does not have a heal. Thrall actually around 55% acts as if he has a heal. Actually, he acts as if he has that drag shield that he gains when you beat the drag boss, and he has that shield whether he has that shield or doesn't have that shield, and I think that's a bug that's been there since day one. Okay, so first run, we're getting a little low on sanity here. Starting to be a tad concerned because of the untimely void eruption, but she's really almost dead. So is the druid, but there we go. One shot, and she's done. So now she gets to go to rank 2. That's all there is. Just go in, kill the 2 guards, kill the boss, stealth past everything else. Once you get up into higher ranks of cloak, and more comfortable with the zones and the fights, there's the quest item you need. You'll know when it's time to start full clearing trash in the zones. All you're going to get is a few extra mementos. You do in these chests get, if you haven't already had them, you get some essences, which are really handy. But like I'll show you later, a lot of these essences for a multi-spec class like Druid or Shaman, whatever, you're going to be getting the wrong essences. And unfortunately for Guardian, here's her Guardian essences. And here you see, it's like Mage Tower. I'm going to show you work. So there she is. Now, rank 2. Before you go for the next run, you're going to go do all the things, right? So you got to go do some things. So it's time to go and do some running of, in this case, a lesser vision, is more mementos to fill out her tech tree. The deeper your tech tree is, the better experience you have and the more safety you have in your horrific visions runs. And so most people don't realize that. They think the most important thing is to collect keys, to collect corrupting visions and build vessels. And the answer is no. If you do that, you may wind up wasting, especially on some specs, a lot of vessels. So what you want to do, the most important currency you can get early on is mementos. The more mementos you can get to buy yourself down that tech tree. Obviously, the first one you get is the sanity orb. That's essential. Without the sanity orb, it's a joke. The second thing, as a soloist, you want the far left second row, which means you have to do the second from the left 3 of 3 second row. And that is something she hasn't needed up till now for rank 6, but my Beast Mastery Hunters actually used it once. And that's the resuscitator. If you die in the vision, it will bring you back to life automatically with a very short little glitchy poo to half sanity. And so that's a little get out of jail free card. The other thing that's important, and you won't get to it for a while, you'll probably be rank 7, 8, 9 at least before you get enough mementos, unless you're really grinding things like this every day, is getting the what would it be, row 4, 5? I don't 4. Row 4 is the elite enhancement, or whatever it's called. It's what happens is when you kill an elite in a horrific vision, you get 200 extra sanity. That's 20% of your bar. So the mini bosses are all elites. And so when you kill 2 mini bosses in the drag, for example, you get 40% of your sanity back automatically. And that's the key thing that's going to let you do full clears, 5 chests, and mask kind of things, is having that auto sanity increase. Okay, so she's finishing off with these guys, and because I was in a mood, she's done her quest, and horrific visions will do this to you. Once you've had enough of these guys, then you really want to just go and find how many of them you can obliterate from the planet. And they all give, well, not all of them, but most of them give mementos. So it's satisfying in both regards. So after you've done your quest, then lesser visions like this are just a memento grind. And that's they give you a few visions too. But in my case, I'm finding that I'm actually filling up on visions and having to watch to see that I can even do a lesser vision, because I might have to go and cut a vessel, but I'm full of vessels, so because we only have 5, so now I have to go and run another horrific vision before I can run a lesser vision that day, and it just you can get backed up. So I'm at the point right now on the 3 characters that I'm running that in the early stages, what I'm calling phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is where you have rank 1 through 5 cloaks. Phase 2 is when you have 6, 7, 8, 9 cloak, which is when you're doing the corrupted areas, and you have an optional disciple kill. And then phase 3 is when you get the highest level cloak, and you're doing the lost zones, and you're starting to look for 5 chest clears at that point, and then you'll start working through your masks runs. So yeah, when you bother to take on the Dominator and these crazed guys, then that means you really have had enough for the day. It's time to quit, because you are really ticked off. But you've got 33% easy sanity, and you might as well go for it, because as much of a clear of this as you want to do, because let's get the mementos and make that tech tree make our life easier. Okay, and so you need to get buffs, and so food is good. This is my cook, so she's fishing. She's gotten all the questionable meat from her alts, and now she needs to make some food. So she's got 2 different kinds of fish. She can fish them anywhere in Uldum or the Vale if it's 8.3 phased. From somebody with a cloak can do it. It doesn't have to be in the middle of an assault like this, but it has to be in an assaulted zone. And so once she gets these 2 different types of fish, and then she will make 2 kinds of food buffs. One is a health, 2% per, and which is the goulash, ghastly goulash, and the other is kebab, which gives you a little 100 sanity. Okay, so having done all the things, now it's time to take on Alleria for the, I guess, second time in this case. And with a little extra wrinkle, because having done all the things, I noticed in my Azurite traits that I have a 500 leech, which procs if I have balance affinity, which I do. If I switch into balance and use Star Surge, which I need to go into Moonkin form to do, I will get an extra 500 leech every time I do that. And that's a really cool thing. So you'll see me in this run do that. So I'm starting off in the bear, and we're going to do our thing with the bear. And at a certain point, about halfway through or whatever, we're going to do something different. Amongst other things, it lets us make better use of the little blue pools, because it's rare with Alleria that you get much use as melee out of the pool because she stands back far enough that you can't reach her. But if you're ranged, like balance, then you can make more use of that. So you'll see here that we're coming up to another void eruption, so we're not going to stay too far away from our pole. And we wait for our void eruption to happen. Okay. All right, and now we switch. So she switches to get 1 star surge. Now, this was the first time I'd used it, but you notice it made a huge difference in her health pool. And so now we go back and we've got rank 3. And we're looking longingly at the DPS essences that we would love to equip, but we can only use them in this form. So now this was the run to 4. And so I decided to switch at about the same time, half health, but instead I said, why am I going back to Guardian? Once I've switched into Moonkin form, why don't I just keep bashing her? And now I am using an agility weapon, not an intellect weapon. I am in Guardian spec, and this is purely balance affinity, so it's not the most efficient use of balance. I probably am better off from it's debatable because she can use this long distance blue puddle that she got there, which she could not use as Guardian. It's far too far away, and again this one as well. So sanity wise, I think she was better off with the switching back into Guardian form, but whatever. So we do this 4 times, and we wind up with rank number 5. Now we have gotten our emergency cranial defibrillation. Clear sight we'd love to have to get some extra to see the chest, but that is bugged also. Not in Stormwind, but in Orgrimmar, the chests show up in the tainted areas before you have even rank 1 of that, and they start to show up in the corrupted areas before you have rank 1 of that. Okay, and so now this is the trip from rank 5 to rank 6. So Orgrimmar trip. So we've finished off our Alleria section here because a week reset has slipped over, and now it's Orgrimmar. So we have to fight. Well, we don't actually have to fight Thrall. We have to take down 1 corrupted zone objective, and that's all. Thrall is just going to give us the big chest with the gear in it, but the actual quest item will come out of the side chest from whichever zone, the corrupted zone we choose to do. Now, because this is Orgrimmar, which is the easier of the 2 horrific visions areas, it has by far the easiest zone, which is the drag. The Valley of Spirits is easy too, except the elemental at the end gives me fits on the Guardian for some reason. In case we get to come back to Thrall, we don't want to waste time fighting these guys out because we might not have a lot of sanity left. We probably are on our last dose by the time we get back here, maybe, because this is our first time we've done a corrupted side zone. And so, we're going to make sure, this is always a good thing, is make sure that you take out the disciples' guards so that in case you have half a sanity bar left, you can run in and make a good attempt on Thrall or Alleria. So, all right, here we go. And we're about to stealth back. And we're going to go zooming up the right-hand side here, avoiding all the packs because we don't need them. And we're going to do our click on the wall. That brings back down the barrier, and we're in the drag. Okay, this is easy. There's just a few packs and 2 mini bosses. None of whom are actually, except for one thing, none of these guys are a problem. You will find the evil tentacles, which disappear and come back on you. And if you don't kill them, they will pop up and put you in combat at the worst possible times when you want to drop an orb. So always kill the tendril as fast as you can because you'll see it again. This is the bug one, which is just annoying. It just means that you have to keep jumping. This is the first mini boss. He throws stuff you're supposed to duck. Yeah, well, the bear, every time I tried to duck, I wound up going the wrong way and winding up into him. But that was because, it was the first time I'd run this fight, and I wasn't sure which direction he was going to toss it. But it was definitely the direction I was running in. But as you see, it's a sanity damage. I certainly would have not lost anywhere near that much sanity if I had managed to avoid him better. I need to go counterclockwise. Anyway, he's nothing much, as you see, health-wise. I tried to run through him. That didn't work. He seems to find me wherever I go. Whatever. Just burn him down, and he's done. And then he drops. I guess Garona must have been in his hands or something. Yeah. So anyway, and there's a tentacle coming back. Just as I was trying to drop an orb, I couldn't drop an orb because my friendly tentacle. Now, you see burrowing appendage is grayed out there, so that one is dead, but there are more. The toughest pack in this entire drag is the pack before the last mini-boss, and it's because it has 2 Cthir Dominators in it, and they stun and they are nasty. Now, do what I say, not what I do. Pick that Cthir Dominator right there in front of me who's just stunned me. What you want to do is make him your focus, not the void thingy beside him, and burn that Dominator down as soon as possible. Now she's got the focus right, and you're going to burn this guy down before he gets his little horrific stun off again. The big guys are big. This guy isn't even an elite. They're big, but they don't really hurt. So burn that guy down. Keep jumping because of the bugs. If you don't jump, they'll make you jump somewhere and rather high. But, they'll throw you into mobs and things like that. Not so much of a deal in the drag, but there are other places where it is a deal. All right, so second last pack has another darn tendril. And so also the weird pink fleshy thing, like who zooms up behind you and seems to have some kind of a weird, some kind of an enrage. And do what I say not do. Don't leave your back to him, but it doesn't seem to matter anyway. Guardian has tons of health, and there's lots of sanity for this run because we're only doing one side, so who cares? And so open up all the places. Now, when you open up the leatherworking tailoring, it's a tailoring shop. This guy is too far gone and has to be killed. You could probably pull him with the tentacle group, but don't pull him in with the next gang because that's the toughest gang in the 2 corrupted sides of Orgrimmar for sure. So yeah, burn this dude down. Make sure you keep jumping. And now we have the 1 Dominator, 2 Dominator, and the big guys. So these are a pain just because of the Dominator's stun. You see that 4-second stun that they label you with. If you can't get them down fast enough, they do some serious sanity damage. So they are the priority to burn them down. Faceless whatever, who cares? Keep jumping because of the bugs. Really, you can see that she's got serious problems here because she's got 3 bugs showing. 3 bugs showing is going to make you jump. So do take that, out of the control of the madness effect and do it yourself. All right, so now we have not a lot of sanity, but probably quite enough to do both openings, but I just decided to keep this really conservative and chicken out. So I dropped a second orb here, which is fine because at this point I've only got one mini boss left. And this mini boss is the easiest mini boss in the whole Horrific Visions as far as I can tell so far. This is the guy that drops the void globules, and has the shield. But to be frank, his void globules, again, it is sanity damage, but who cares? At this point, you're not doing a full clear. You're not doing a 5 chest. You've got a whole extra sanity. He tosses you around, and so do the bugs. So it's like a question of who's throwing me now. But that's okay. Just keep on jumping. And this void torrent, I'm sure that if you get used to it, you won't get stunned and lose sanity damage. I just wasn't quite used to it. This is the first time I'd seen it. I knew to run around it, but I wasn't running around it very well. And, you know, again, bears are not the most flexible animals in the world for speed. And so, yeah, just burn them down. I mean, this is the simplest boss in the whole place. And after him, that's it. Now, the jumping definitely got annoying, and she has so many bugs that jumping isn't seeming even to... She's obviously not hopping enough here. Okay, so he's down. What will happen now is you get a little role play where all of the Orgrimmar people go running in, and they've got trying to get a teleporter working, and so in this case she needed an orb, so this is her last orb before she does the jump. Just get her sanity back up again. And I was still not quite sure, having not run this before, where the heck is the teleporter? Oh, there it is up there. So you take the teleporter, throws the bear across town, and lands her on a little pillow. Poof. Which is why some people take out those mobs on the left there, because, you know, if you don't have stealth, you're going to be in their face. So we've taken out the guards, we're in stealth, and it's just time for Thrall, and we have almost a full sanity bar, and we've really not lost more than 10% health through this whole thing, so what's not to love? So now our friend Thrall is actually going to not be fully bugged. He's actually going to have the shield from the guy we just killed, rather than just appearing to have a shield that doesn't show up, which he seems to have all the time. So we dodge his thing from the front, and then we play around as to dodging where he has the goo. He's either put the goo in the middle or he's put the goo on the outside, and he telegraphs. I am using Deadly Boss Mod's challenge mode, which was the one that they did for challenge dungeons and also Mage Tower. They've updated it now for Horrific Visions, and so that module is handy in that it gives you little hints about, you know, when to dodge, and yeah, that's okay. So here's the shield that he got from the last mini boss, but you know, he's always acts. He actually got me with that stun that time, but nah, it doesn't matter. The issue with him is that he always acts as if he has a shield at like 55% anyway. So I just think that it's just an RP thing. If he gets the shield, it's just graphics. I think he behaves like he has it all the time anyway. So we do the dance, the choreography session from the devs who are frustrated Hollywood choreographers, clearly, especially looking at that mythic raid. Anyway, the N'Zoth fight was just a choreography dance. And we are done. So there you go. That's our rank 6. So we did extra because now we have 2 chests. We got our little achievement. Because this thing is so bugged, I'm not trusting to I want my Fear and Flesh book quest item, so I'm going to open that chest first. We get some mementos, and oh, surprise, another pair of 440 bracers. That's about the 6th pair we've had so far from Horrific Visions and other things, and the quest line on the one character. She just seems to get bracers. Okay, so that's our thing. We're going to take it in here and just wrap this up by getting our rank 6. Always make sure that you take the next quest in the quest line. Don't get yourself stuck down there without having got your quest first. And we apply it, and boom, now we have a much prettier cape. Okay, we're done. And WoW Soloist signing out for now.